Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, the follow-up video, answering the questions about the internal keyway cutting on that big hub. That is for a customer of mine. That is a repeat job. I get it about once a month, maybe every 2 months. I'm actually like the third operation on that job, and there's 2 or 3 operations after that. So it's a pretty nice job. For me, it's actually not bad, but it's a lot of fun. But let's get into the questions here, because the first question kind of gets right to the point. What is the setup time on a job like that? It seems like that is a very important. Also, are you using the slower speed? Nice work as always. Setup time on that job, the first time I ever did one was about an hour and 20 minutes. I've got it down to about half an hour to 40 minutes. Just setup on that is extremely critical. With the tight tolerance on that, what they're looking for, it's got to be perfect. And I haven't scrapped one yet. That's the best part. I haven't scrapped one yet. I got to find some wood to knock on. Anyway, haven't scrapped one yet. Been doing really good. Just focus on the setup. The setup is the key to that whole operation, getting it right. And was I using the slower stroke speed? Yes, that is the slowest speed. That made the world of difference. If you go back, check out my older videos, there was a video where I slowed down the stroke speed because it was just too fast. If you check out the older videos on the slaughter, there is a playlist. Some pretty cool videos. All right, next one. Another great job. That looks like some sort of shaft coupler. I'm curious why the customer didn't have you make the entire thing. So I've asked that of the customer before too, but they prefer to do their part, send it to me for my part, and then I send it back and they do the rest of it. And I think a lot of it is because it's proprietary. They've asked me specifically, don't show their name, don't show the drawings, don't show anything that can say what the part is. There are a few parts that I do for them that are mostly finished, and you would be able to tell what they go to. So I don't do those, I don't film those. But I think it's more or less the privacy to keep that, they don't want people knowing where this is really coming from. And they're a pretty big company, so that's why I don't do that. But as far as some sort of shaft coupler, no, it's something else, and I can't say, unfortunately. Did you fix the feed box yet? No, I have not. I haven't had time, nor really the ambition. With the new job, I've been focused on that. The shop is secondary, and I really, honestly, don't even want to be out here much. But I'm kind of stuck, so I'm out here doing the best I can with what I got. Eventually, we'll fix this feed box on this, but that video will come. It'll be a while. I don't know when. One question, would it be better on the cutter if the holes were put in after the slot to eliminate the interrupted cut? Yes, and I have brought this up to them numerous times, but that's just the way they do it, and quite honestly, it works. I really wish it wasn't that way, but it does work, and it isn't that bad. It really isn't working out that bad for me, so... But yes, the interrupted cut is really a problem. As you can see right now, I got the big sprockets up here. This will be a video coming up probably in a month or so. This is an interrupted cut also because that has 3 pieces. That's a pain in the butt. And it's some weird material. I have no idea what it is. What kind of fluid is that? Automatic transmission fluid, along with some other lubricity enhancers. So there's other stuff in there, but it works really well. It's a very clean fluid. It's a high detergent, so it takes the crud out. It's really cleaned out the machine. I started using this over in the Cincinnati number 2 horizontal. I did a video of that when I was having problems with the pump and everything. And the way that cleaned that machine out and the way it runs now, I couldn't be happier. So if you're interested, check out the older videos on the Cincinnati horizontal. There's some pretty cool stuff there where we did a lift kit to it so I could, not have to bend over and hurt myself, and cleaned it out. And I've done a lot of keyways on it. That's been a great machine too. What is the maximum stroke on that shaper? So I may ask. 2.5 feet, I presume. 12 inches. 12 inches. This is a 12-inch Mori, and they made an 8-inch and a 14-inch. This is the 12. 12 inches of stroke. So I am right at the limit of my stroke with those parts. They're 10.5 inches, so I don't have much beyond that to work with. Can you do a blind keyway, such as one that only goes part way down the bore, and if so, are there extra steps involved? Also, I see there is a rotary table on the machine. Is it accurate enough to do internal splines? I really like this machine. So, yes, you can do a blind keyway because this is not a hydraulic shaper. This is a mechanical shaper. So the hydraulics do not stop very precisely. This does. So you can set it right where you want it to stop. The best way to do a keyway like that, I've seen it done right to a shoulder. I had a friend who used to do it, and he would have to go in there at one stroke and then go in there with a chisel and pop that chip out. And then one stroke and pop that chip out. Drilling a hole, a relief, is the best way to do those. So that is how you would do that. But yes, this machine will do that. As far as the rotary table, extremely accurate. Yes, that is, goes all the way around. I have degrees and minutes. So this thing is very accurate. So yes, that is kind of actually what these machines were designed for, was keyways, splines, gears, that kind of stuff. So this will do a 54-inch diameter part on the table, and you could cut a spline on the outside of that. Was your machine at full stroke? Pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. Is this for Squatch's rock crusher? No, this is something else. And I've been asked this before. When am I going to get to the rock crusher videos? The rock crusher parts. Squatch and I both have discussed this in depth on the channel. When we have time. It is not critical to him. It's not critical to me. It's not something that we're going to just rush into and get it done. He's got 20 years worth of projects. He just wanted to get it over here and get going on it. I'm hoping this summer I can get to it, this fall, spring yet maybe, but there's a lot of other stuff that I need to do this year that take priority, such as new job, paying jobs on the side. Squatch's job, yeah, I want to get it done. I want to help him with it, but both of us are not in a hurry. We're not in a rush, but we've taken the preliminary steps to get this closer to being ready to do. So it'll come. Just be patient. It'll come. Let's see, this one. Would you consider it beneficial to cut the keyway first, board billet, keywayed, and external turning, and then board the holes? No, that's there's stresses in material, and as you take stuff away, shapes change, tolerances change. You don't really screw with the process. You basically finish the part and then put the keyway in. That's always the last step. I don't think it would make it any different, better to do it, or probably make it worse to do, because I wouldn't have that step to clamp down to. Where the slaughter cuts through those holes on top and bottom, they look like they flex, be weak points. Shame you don't get the whole job. I don't think it flexes. I think that's kind of an optical delusion from the camera. It's a pretty solid piece. And then it's asking why I don't get the whole job, and I think I addressed that already in the first question, that this is a proprietary thing. This customer does all that. They just can't do the keyway, and they want to keep it in-house as much as possible. Okay, this one. I'm curious as to where you source your cutters. I remember seeing this one, and I wanted to address this. So I was getting them from a company in California that was I was referred to by a friend who has the same machine. He's down in Arizona, and I was getting them for years from this guy, and he finally decided to retire and sell the business. And I am currently looking for a new source, because who he sold the business to has been a nightmare to work with. I ordered more cutters in late December. Ordered them in December. Mid-January, I reached out. Where are my cutters? Not a word. Emails, phone calls. Finally, I get a call back from them. And, oh, yep, they'll ship this week. They'll ship this week. Another week goes by, nothing. Called them, emailed them, finally get a call back. Yep, they're shipping this week. I just got them last week. So we're into February, or the end of February, actually. We're right now when I'm filming this is March 1st. So I got them the end of February, ordered them in December. That is unacceptable. So I am actually looking for a new source for these. They are Morrison key seat cutters. I know I can get them from Morrison. I think I found another place in Canada that sells them. So I am definitely looking for a new source for these. I got enough to get me through for a while, but I gotta locate a new vendor. I hope I answered all the questions and didn't offend anybody, because I know generally I offend somebody when I do these follow-ups. I don't mean to make anybody feel stupid, but it happens. I've been doing this so long that I see the ways it needs to be done. I've done it multiple different ways and what works and what doesn't, and I generally tend to offend somebody because I come off a little harsh, I think, sometimes. I don't mean to. So I hope I answered all the questions. If you have more questions, just ask them below in the comment section. Check out the older videos on whether it's on the slaughter, on the, anything else here in the shop. I got a lot of neat, unique pieces of equipment. The slaughter, the planer mill, all the stuff, weird stuff I've done with the Cincinnati horizontal, the boring mill, radial drill, I've got some nice, unique pieces. So I've done some weird stuff over the years, so check out the older content. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. And until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.
Too dumb to quit, too proud to cry, still grinding steel under a fading sky. The last machine shop in a frozen hell, just me and a dream I can't seem to sell.